Welcome back to MK Cyphers. Let's talk about today. Another very special guest with me today, Skylar Lawson. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Good, yeah, man. And you know, we wanted to bring you down today because I watched your performance. You done a little performance at the Party Boy event, and we were blown away.
Thank you.
I mean, you're a brilliant singer.
Thank you.
Brilliant. See, she's saying thank you. But like, we'll play the footage. We'll play the footage that we got because honestly, we were like, what?
So right, and say, yeah, my baby, bring it on me tonight. And they say, oh, and I never felt so right. And they say, yeah, my baby, bring it on me tonight. Close my heart before my baby, and take you on toes around the world. Yeah. Now tell me if love's so nice, and tell me why it hurts so bad. But if love's so nice, and tell me why I'm sad. Thank you guys.
So we wanted to sort of talk about your musical journey. So, you know, first question, as always, is, you know, where did you start? How did you get into it?
I started music, so I've always kind of done a bit of singing and whatnot. But I kind of properly started when I was about 12, 13. So I'm just singing around the house, etc.
Singing in the shower, you know.
Yeah, you know just how it goes. So just singing because everybody sings, just whether you can stay in tune or not. You know what I mean? But and then one day my mum said, "Shannon, do that again." And obviously I'm quite a shy character.
Yeah.
So I was like, "No, what are you on about?" And she's like, "No, sing that again. I think you have a voice." My mum does music as well. She used to sing. So after about a day of her grilling me to try and sing, she's like, "All right, stand behind the curtain and do it." So I went behind the curtain and I sang, and she was like, "I think you have a voice." And then from then, my mum was just kind of like pushing me, etc. Took me to like gigs.
That's
and things
beautiful.
Like that.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You see, let me just touch on like, so again, you were a shy character, but you were sort of made to sort of stand behind the curtain. So you sort of have that sort of, okay, no one's looking at me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can actually sing without like, and whatnot. So how did that sort of increase your confidence to, you know, again, your mum's pushing you. Your mum's like, yo, you've got something here. And you started going to different places now. You're like, okay, all right. How did that sort of motivate you? How did that encourage you performing on stages?
Again, it was just my mum pushing me. So no one really likes to be out of their comfort zone, but my mum used to force me to do it to the point where I didn't, hate's a strong word, I disliked her sometimes, you know what I mean? Because it's like, she would stress me out and she would put me in situations where I felt uncomfortable.
We all have some moments.
For instance, small things like, so I play the guitar and I play the piano.
Really?
And when she used to take me to these performances, when I would play the guitar, I would always sit down and sing. My mum's always taught me, sit up. Do you know what I mean? So stand up so that way when you're projecting, you can project properly. But when I used to stand up, my knees used to feel weak. So I was trying to explain that to her, saying like, "Mum, I don't stand up because I get more nervous."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, but Shannon, you need to have stage presence. You can't always be going to these gigs and sitting down. Do you know what I mean?
You can't hide behind the curtains.
Yeah, like obviously here and there, depending on what kind of gig it is, you might want to sit on a stool and do you know what I mean? But she's like, you need to be able to do both." And then she would just push me to the point where I do it reluctantly, and then after I've done it, I'm like, that wasn't too bad. And then just things like that just kept pushing me, just taking me out my comfort zone, doing songs that maybe I wouldn't necessarily try, things like that.
I mean, okay, again, exploring that uncomfortableness
Yeah.
from you. So whether it's okay, you got to sort of stand up, perform, all right. You got to, you know, I don't know whether that what that looks like for you. All right, you got to perform on this stage in front of all these people. You're like, Mum, like, no.
Yeah.
Again, but that inspires confidence and that builds confidence, because at the end you're like, okay, I didn't die. Like, that's good.
Yeah,
Like, and again, you know, when was that what's the first point in your life where you performed on a stage, and you know, what was that feeling for you? How did that feel for you?
My first performance.
Yeah.
It was very, very nerve-wracking, because even just engaging with people when I was younger, I find it hard. Do you know what I mean? So obviously going up on stage now and being like, I didn't have lessons with like guitar and whatnot. I taught myself. Wow. So obviously I'm like, I feel like, oh, am I going to be judged?
So you taught yourself as well?
I taught myself.
Oh my gosh, that's why. Okay, wow. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. So obviously because I didn't have vocal lessons either, I thought, am I doing this properly? Like, am I even in tune, or is my mum being nice because I'm her daughter? Do you know what I mean? Even though I know my mum wouldn't do that, but obviously that's what plays in your head. It's like, okay, she's my mum. Maybe she's just pushing me because, you know what I mean, we want to get out the hood, and do you know what I mean? We want to make the money. But yeah, it was just a very nerve-wracking feeling, but it was the feeling afterwards, that adrenaline, that I was like, no, I do want to do it again. But then it's just a repetitive pattern where, all right, well, before the gig, I'm nervous. But after it, I want to go back on
You're
stage.
buzzing.
Do you know what I mean?
You're buzzing.
Yeah.
So then how does that look like in terms of you sort of performing new songs, or performing something you haven't tried before? Or maybe you've been trying something in your room and you're like, okay, I want to take this to the stage.
Well, now,
Yeah.
I've got to this stage where, like, not saying I don't care, but meaning it's like, I do music for me at the end of the day. And I kind of want to get that thought process of, oh, what are people going to think of me out my head? So it's like, if I want to attempt a song, now I'm in the headspace where I'll just attempt it. Yeah. I'll just try it. I'll just put myself out there, because it's like, I should be doing it for me at the end of the day. Anyway, if people enjoy it, then lovely. That's even better. But you have to do it for yourself first.
So what's the reactions like to your music? Because, you know, like, okay, I'm a singer. Okay, all right, let's see you sing. Wow. What's the reactions like for you?
Yeah, the reactions are, of course, they're, I don't know what the word is.
Brilliant, nice.
Yeah,
good,
of course, it's flattering, it's warming, it's lovely. A lot of them have been positive. Although I do appreciate negative feedback as well, because obviously that's the only way that you grow. So, but beforehand, when I was younger, I wouldn't really be able to take negative feedback because it would knock my confidence. But now that I've got to a certain stage where I'm like, I really want this music thing. Yeah. So like now, if I go to a performance, I will ask people, like, give me something negative. Like, what do you feel like I could do better next time? Because not saying, obviously, I do love to hear the good things. Yeah. But at the same time, I can't grow if I'm only being told what I'm good at.
You want to get better.
Yeah.
That's
so
mindset.
If they say, you know, I done just a quick gig last week, and people were coming up to me and said, oh, Skylar, that was great, da da da. And I was like, okay, but now tell me something. And one guy was like, I can't really find anything. I was like, there has to be something, otherwise I would have made it already. Yeah. So, and then he was like, he's like, more stage presence. He's like, you have the voice. He's like, you have the look. He's like, you just need to come across a bit more confident, like you own your voice. And I was like, thank you. I said, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna take that home, and now I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, that's brilliant, because, you know, a lot of people take negative comments harshly. You know, you're not gonna die. It's not gonna kill you, but you're using that to motivate you, and you're like, okay, cool, go back to the drawing board, make this sketch more prettier. Yeah. And whatnot. So again, you've got to a point now where you're performing gigs. Yeah. And you're getting the feedback, and all right, cool, you're building your sort of platform, your audience, you know, you're dropping things online, people are like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Now everyone does, oh my gosh. So now, what advice would you give the audience if someone was to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, I want to do what she's doing? What advice would you give to them?
I personally would say, just do what you love. If it's something, that sounds corny, but if it's something you enjoy, you shouldn't really be caring about what people think, because you're doing it for your passion and your love for it. So like, I'm a bit excessive with it, but like, I will think of things like, if I was gonna die tomorrow, would I really care about what these people, I have to think like that in order to get over my little nerves and things like that. But if I die tomorrow, are people gonna think about, oh, she tripped up when she went on stage? You're not going to be thinking about, oh, Skylar buckled last year when she went up on stage, and Or do you remember when she had that booger in her nose and everyone was looking at, no one's going to remember that when you're on your deathbed. They're going to remember the good things that you've done and your talents and your love. So that's what I would say.
I mean, that's just beautiful because, you know, people like to keep that in their head. It will not kill you, you know, you will not die from embarrassment. No one will remember it. It's fine, you're good. Don't worry, relax. Now, again, you've taught yourself all of how to play all of these instruments or whatnot. Now, I want to talk about discipline when it comes to that, because that does require a lot of discipline. I mean, I used to play keyboard, and I want to emphasize the word used, because we're not doing that anymore. That's long. But yeah, what's the discipline like to learn a new instrument?
You have to be very disciplined. You have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I found it quite easy because it was just something I enjoyed, I loved. Do you know what I mean? So when I first picked up, so actually I taught myself the piano first.
Okay.
And I think it's just because we didn't really have an instrument in the house and we're all quite musical that I really wanted to play.
Yeah.
So teaching myself the piano, that one took a lot of discipline because that one was actually a funny story. So we had a broken keyboard at the door of our house. You know when you're taking out rubbish, but it was sitting there for like a good few weeks. And it was my brother's. And I thought, I really want to learn how to play the piano. So what I done was, the piano didn't work, but I went onto YouTube and then I would practice it. Obviously there's no sound coming out. And then when I used to go to school the next day, I would go and play what I learned the other day. Yeah. So that's how I learned how to play the piano, etc.
Hold on. You said this like this was nothing, okay? So you used to play on a broken keyboard with no sound, go on YouTube and like, okay, yeah, this is how to play, like for Mozart, for example, this is how to play it. And then you'd go to school and recite it.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. How the hell did you do that?
But that's what I'm saying. If you love and enjoy something and you really want to do it, you will find a way. So obviously I knew that we had that at school, but I didn't have anything to teach me. So I thought, all right, well, I remember my brother's keyboard was like, let me just try it. And then when obviously I'd done that the first time and I went to school and I was like, oh, this actually sounds like how it's supposed to sound. I was like, oh, and then I just continued doing it.
She's so cool. Oh, I want to be like her now. Do you know what I mean? So now, all right, we've talked about the highs in your career.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lows.
Yeah.
How have they formed in your life? How has that experience been for you? How have you gotten out of it?
Obviously everybody has their lows. I'd say one of the biggest lows that I've had that has shaped me into the artist I am now is I had a head injury. I had an accident. So I fractured my skull countless amount of times. I broke my jaw, fractured the bones in my ear. Basically, I mashed up my head. And
real ruffian, gone out there and just...
Basically, yeah. Just to cut a long story short, just to raise awareness as well, I wasn't wearing a helmet. I was riding an electric scooter and I don't know what happened after that. But, so wear helmets.
Wear your helmets.
But
safety first, please.
Always.
No matter what.
So obviously that was one of my biggest lows. And I think the way I kind of got out of it was just, I had to go through the motions. Do you know what I mean? You can't just expect, okay, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to be all right, or next month I'll be all right. Because an injury like that as well, it plays on your mental health. It's not just the physical recovery. Do you know what I mean?
So how long were you sort of
So like I wasn't working for about 7 months.
Oh, wow.
I was at home just...
recovering?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because obviously I broke my jaw and things like that. Like I wasn't able to eat for a while, so I lost a lot of weight, I lost a lot of muscle. So things like walking and talking, like basically all the normal things.
Yeah.
And I'm quite active, so I play football as well. So those kind of things that would normally be normal to me on a daily basis, I struggled with.
So it's like everything's sort of gone from that point and now you've just gone sort of back to, I can't even say basics.
I felt like a baby. I was eating baby food. I was eating mashed and mushed up food because obviously I couldn't chew.
Yeah.
I had to have assistance. Say if I needed to do a little bit of a long walk, I'd have to hold on to my mum or a loved one that's taking me out or whatever. So, like I said, the way I got out of that was more just going through the emotions and realising that, you know what, it's all right. You're supposed to feel like this. Do you know what I mean? Regardless whether it's physical or mental, you're supposed to feel like this. You have to go through it. There is no skipping it, because you can skip it, but then later on in life, it's going to come back because you're not properly healed. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of just went through it. Obviously, my family were great help. Music, of course, was great help. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody has a connection with music. No one can say they don't. It could be classical, it could be rock, it could be anything, but you have a connection with it that helps you get through times, or when you're happy, you play the tune and it uplifts you, whatever it is. So like I said, I just had to go through the motions, and then that helped me as an artist, because then because I was so close to death, of course, it was just like, why do I care about what people think? I need to do what I love.
Giving you a new perspective on life.
Yeah, like I need to, I want to die empty. And if I died in that accident, I wouldn't have died empty. I have a lot in me.
Hold on. That is a gem. That is a gem. You want to die empty.
Yeah.
Explain to the audience what that means. I know what it means, but I want you to explain to the audience what that means. That is a gem.
So, how I would define dying empty. So it's just like, we all have something to give. We all have passions, we all have hobbies, we all have talents. Whether you know it or you don't know it, we all have these things. And sometimes we're scared of embarrassment and things like that, which is why we don't pursue it, or I may not be good at it, or but you really want to do it. Just do it. Die empty, die. So if you was to die next week, you could say, at least I went and I done that dance class that I wanted to do. At least I done that, or at least, so for me, my thing is music. So I want to die, I want to just give everything I can give to this world. So when I die, it's like, like, I'm all right.
See, I was 6 years. She's awesome. She's awesome. This is what I'm saying. This is where we bring these people onto the show, because they are just awesome in their own capacity, and we just want to highlight this. Audience, I want to know, how have your lows formed in your life, and how have you gotten through them or over them, whether it's a bad breakup, whether it's, again, an injury, how have you dealt with it? I would love to know. Drop your comments in the comment section below. So you mentioned you breaking your jaw, right? Yeah. All different head injuries. Yeah. How did you sort of regain your ability to sing again? Because, again, being out for 7 months and going back to basically, you said you felt like a baby.
Yeah.
Eating baby food, essentially.
Yeah.
And getting help to just walk. To now, again, performing on stages and singing beautifully. Yeah. How was that journey? Because that must have been very tough.
Yeah, it was very, very tough, and it was a lot to go through, because obviously your jaw is something you use on a daily basis just to communicate. And when I first came out of hospital, my voice was different. Obviously, I couldn't open my jaw that wide, so it's like, when I'm talking, I don't sound like me. So I was kind of like, it knocked my confidence, because I didn't really want to communicate with anybody, because it's like,
it takes a lot of people to get out of certain pits in their life.
It just took a lot of discipline, to be honest. Obviously, I had to do a lot of jaw exercises, to the point where actually I still have to do them now, because I believe it's just one of those things, because it was so severe, the break, it's one of those things I'm going to have to live with. So like, if I wake up in the morning, my jaw is very tight and things like that. So I have to, like, you may see me in a performance just at the side, just going, I'm not weird, I'm just stretching out my jaw, so that when I go on stage that I can project the way I want to. But yeah, it took a lot of discipline, it took a lot of...
Physically is one thing, mentally is a whole different thing.
Yeah, of course.
And imagine mentally must be worse than physically, right?
Yeah.
So how was the journey for you in terms of repairing that?
It took a lot. I'll be honest, the pit that I was in, I didn't ever think I was going to get out. And it's one of those things where you hear a lot of people go through mental health issues and things like that, but you think, oh, never me, I'll be all right. Do you know what I mean? Or like, even me going through an accident, I wouldn't really, now going through it, I understand how much of a toll it takes on your mental health as well. But before I had that, I wasn't empathetic like that. I was understanding, but I never really understood what it took. And so obviously my mum used to drill in my head as well, like, you'll only get as well as your brain is. Do you know what I mean? So like, you have to make sure that mentally you're challenging yourself and understanding that this is part of the journey. Do you know what I mean? Everything you're going through, it's going to be part of it, and you just kind of like have to find a way to get over it. Just look at the positive. So I was very, very negative. So I'd bring up everything I couldn't do. Like, Mum, but I can't do this and I can't do that. And she'd be like, She got a pen and a paper. She said, now write down the things that you can do.
Your mum is sick. Your mum is so cool.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. So, all right, write pen and paper. Write everything you can do.
So she just made me write down all the things that I can do. And she, obviously, the list was extensive. Do you know what I mean? I can breathe. I can... Obviously, certain things I may need assistance with. But she's like, look at all the things you can do now. Now list the things that I can't do. And obviously, the list was minor in comparison to what I could do. So... although it wasn't really drilling in that moment of time, because when you're healing from things mentally, it's all on you.
Yeah.
No one can really help you. You're in your own thingy. When you want to heal and get better, you will heal and get better.
It's your mental health.
That's it. No one can bring you out of it. And you shouldn't rely on anyone to bring you out of it, because then your mental health is in their hands.
Tell the audience that. Say that straight to the audience.
Basically, never depend on anyone to make you happy or to make you feel content within yourself, because people, regardless of who they are, they're temporary. So therefore, when they're not there, so your mental health is not going to be stable. And obviously, that's what you need in life. You need a stable mental health in order to be successful.
She's so cool, man. I swear down. I'm trying to be like her. She's awesome. I swear down. Skylar, where can they find you?
You can find me on social media. If you just type in Skylar Lawson Music, you'll find me anywhere. That's SKYLAR, Skylar, Lawson, LAWSON, music.
Make sure you follow her, like her stuff, support her, because, you know, it's people like her that are doing such amazing things, and we need to champion them more. So, again, have you got any sort of music out on any sort of platforms that they can check out?
At the moment, I've got a song that's going to be coming out hopefully next month. It's a piano track, so slightly different to what people may see me do, but I'm trying to branch out and just be a bit more diverse, do you know what I mean? So people can be played in Ibiza, but I can also play at weddings with the guitar. I'm trying to be diverse, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that hopefully, I haven't got an exact date. It's in the mix and the mastering process right now, but hopefully that should be out next month, so keep a lookout.
30. Check that out. Make sure, what's it called again?
I'm a piano.
I'm a Piano. Check that out. Make sure you listen out for that. That's going to be exciting. I'm really happy for you. Wow.
Thank
This
you.
is such a brilliant interview. Skylar, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank
This
you,
is
thank you.
amazing. Honestly, you've dropped some gems here. And, you know, audience, please drop in the comments. What have you learned? What gems have you picked up and sort of used in your life? If you're actually going to use some in your life, please let us know. Thank you once again for watching the episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. Shout out to MK Cypher for all of this. This is amazing. He's the man, the guy. Check out his stuff as well. You already know how awesome MK is. I don't even need to talk about him anymore. He's just too good. And we will catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.